Do you really understand the pain of loving someone who doesn't show it back? Love is supposed to be a two-way street, a connection where two hearts beat as one. But what happens when one person is giving everything while the other remains distant? What happens when a man loves deeply, cares endlessly, but feels invisible to the woman he adores? This is the story of a man who found himself lost in a love that only seemed to exist in words, not in actions. Here comes a story of a man called Daniel. One among the hard days ever felt by Daniel sits alone in his room, staring at his phone, waiting for a text that never comes. Daniel was in love, deeply, unconditionally. He had met Sarah 2 years ago, and from the moment they connected, he knew she was special. He gave her his heart, his time, his energy. But lately, something had changed. He still told her he loved her every day. He still made time for her, checked in on her, made sure she was okay. But when he said, "I love you," the only response he got was silence, or a simple, "Okay." He told her he missed her, that he wanted to see her. But days would pass, and she wouldn't even try to find him. And yet, every time he asked if something was wrong, she would just say, "I love you too, Daniel. You worry too much." But if she really loved him, why did it feel like he was the only one holding on? Daniel scrolls through their old messages, remembering how things used to be. He remembered the early days, the excitement in her voice when they talked, the way she used to light up when she saw him, the way she would send cute messages just to check on him. But now it felt one-sided. He was always the one reaching out first, always the one making plans, always the one expressing how much he cared. And when she was busy, she never found time to text him first or call him just to hear his voice. Daniel started to feel unwanted, like his love didn't matter, like he was just another person in her life while she was the center of his world. It hurt, not just a little. It hurt deep, in a way that made his chest feel heavy. It made him question if he was even important to her at all. Daniel sits at his desk, hands on his face, frustration building inside him. And then came the overthinking. Maybe she was tired. Maybe she had too much on her plate. Maybe he was expecting too much. But deep down, he knew when someone truly loves you, they find ways to show it. They don't leave you guessing. They don't leave you feeling alone in the relationship. Daniel started to feel invisible, like his emotions didn't matter, like no matter how much he tried, it would never be enough to make her show up the way he needed her to. He felt confused. How could she say she loved him, yet never show it? Was love just a word to her? A habit? Did she say it just to keep him from walking away? His mind was a battlefield between his love for her and the pain she caused him. He felt rejected, unappreciated, and exhausted. Love was supposed to feel warm, but lately it just felt cold. He watched other couples, how they looked at each other with warmth, how they laughed, how they held hands, and it made him feel alone. Alone even though he was technically in a relationship. That was the worst part, feeling lonely while being with someone. Daniel wanted to be seen. He wanted to be loved in the way he loved. He didn't need expensive gifts or grand gestures. He just wanted her to care, to ask him how his day was, to check on him first for once, to hold him when he was tired the way he held her when she was down, to remind him that he mattered, but she never did. And that's when he started to feel resentment, not the kind that made him angry, but the kind that made him sad, the kind that whispered, maybe this love isn't meant to last. He never thought love would make him feel so empty. Daniel finally puts his phone down, deciding not to text first this time. He exhales, leaning back on his chair. And then Daniel made a decision, a painful one. He decided to stop chasing her, to stop pouring love into someone who wouldn't even meet him halfway. It broke him to even think about it. But he knew love should never feel like begging for attention. Love should never feel one-sided. Maybe she would notice his silence. Maybe she wouldn't. But for the first time in a long time, Daniel realized something important. Love isn't just about saying the words. It's about showing up. It's about making the other person feel valued. It's about effort. And if someone only says they love you, but never shows it, maybe they don't love you the way you deserve. Daniel had spent so much time trying to hold on to someone who wouldn't hold on to him. And as painful as it was, he knew it was time to let go of the love that was breaking him. Because real love should never leave you feeling alone. If you're feeling like Daniel, if you're giving everything but receiving nothing in return, remember this. You deserve love that is shown, not just spoken. You deserve someone who makes you feel wanted, cherished, and valued. Love should never feel like an unanswered question. So if you're holding on to someone who never holds you back, maybe it's time to stop waiting. Maybe it's time to walk away and find the love that doesn't leave you feeling invisible. It hurts when you go through something that kills you inside, but you have to act like it doesn't bother you at all.